1865, General Granger comes here, and his whole goal was to come out here and let people know about General Order Number 3, which links back to the Emancipation Proclamation. He did a tour of Texas, spreading the word about General Order Number 3. When he came here with units or detachments of the 13th Corps, which were all white soldiers that came here. But there were some black soldiers in the Galveston area at the time of this proclamation. So this booklet right here is the Proclamation of the Emancipation. This was created by a gentleman named John Forbes, December of 1862. This was just before the Emancipation Proclamation. So how did he get a copy of the Emancipation Proclamation to do this? That's the question. Now, he created or printed out over 1 million copies of this booklet. This booklet was meant to be handed out to Union soldiers, and as they came across blacks in the South, they would hand these booklets to them so that they would know about the Emancipation Proclamation. Now, when General Banks came here in 1863, who's to say his troops weren't issued these booklets as well to hand out here in Texas? Well, the tools themselves aren't indicative to Juneteenth, but the soldiers that fought in the Civil War, a lot of people think that all they did was fight. They did a lot of building. I'm here coming in as an engineer from the 1st Corps DF Engineers. This would have been an engineer's castle, letting people know that we were engineers. Not all blacks were picking rice. Not all black were picking cotton. A lot of them were skilled labor. They were jewelers, they were wheelwrights, they were barrel makers, they were carpenters, they were farriers, they were roofers, brick masons, you name it. Nobody talks about this. Nobody talks about this pamphlet. So with my organization, I try to find things that people really don't know a whole lot about and try to present that to them to get them to start thinking a little bit differently about our history. Because our history is bigger than what a lot of these history books says. You know, I love the fact that we have Juneteenth, but I don't like the fact that people really don't know what was behind it that helped that, this Juneteenth happen. So I got my collection here, and like I said, I talk about the old tools, but when I'm talking about these old tools, it's not just old tools that I'm talking about. A tool can be anything. A tool can be these checkers. This would have been a tool used for entertainment. The tool could have been my can opener. This would have been a tool used to open up these cans. And then on this table here, I would have my farrier tools and some of the weapons that the soldiers would have used back then. But the problem I had when I first started doing this was, how am I going to talk about old tools when everybody else is talking about guns? I'm talking about hammers and shovels. Well, I said, I'll bring my weapons, and I know the kids will ask me about it, and I can segue into tools. But I think that we should put some emphasis on the history of Juneteenth so people would know. I feel that if people knew, or if we knew our history, maybe we would change our attitudes, we would clean up our language, and maybe we would treat each other with a little bit more respect once that we learned that we truly are standing on the shoulders of our ancestors.